Hey Mixers, welcome back into another WNBA player props video. I am filming this video before the later games have been played because I have a very important fantasy football draft tonight. It's an auction draft, so it's going to take several hours. So I may or may not get this video up to you like soon, or it might have to wait until like tomorrow morning, just because however long it takes me to get this done. But it should be a pretty quick one. We only have 2 games to go over, and I only have a couple plays for you. So let's go ahead and review the picks from the previous day, and then we'll review the picks from today and get into those new picks. All right, so the other day we went 2-1 on the money lines, 1-2 on the spreads, and then 2-1 on the totals. My totals have been coming up over the last 2 weeks for some reason. And then today we hit Dallas on the money line, but we missed the spread and the total in that game. And then we have the other 3 games that are left to play tonight. On our best bets, we got absolutely wrecked the other day. Pauline Astier, the bet that I felt the worst about, actually is the one that came through. So 12.5 PRA for Pauline Astier at 13. That's what she had, so she barely got us there. And then Angel Reese over 2.5 assists. I'm not sure why I put 5 there, but she had 2. So she hooked us there. She was too busy stuffing the stat sheet on the points. And then the bonus bet on Sabrina plus 111 over 5.5 assists. That one was looking really good because she had 3 assists pretty early in the game and ended with 4 somehow. So that did not come through. And then the leans, NECA over 15.5 points. She only had 11. Stewie over 22.5 points. She had exactly 22. And that was due to free throws that got us to that 22. So unfortunately, she just couldn't go over for our lean. So that was a terrible day. The best bets went 1-1, which isn't too bad. And then the rest of the bets just completely, we lost everything. On the game bet, we also lost that. So the Fever plus 2.5 at New York, they could not keep it close at the end. And I was watching the game. I know Caitlin was pretty frustrated with the play calling in that game and just some what she thought were some missed fouls. And I think that they probably were letting the players play a little bit more in that game, in my opinion. But I do like to see that, actually. I'd rather see that than the ticky-tacky fouls constantly. But that's just me, personally. All right, the bets for today, here they are. We have already cashed our bonus bet on Flage plus 152 over 1.5 3-pointers made. She shot 5 for 10, so that was awesome. She had an amazing day. We should have just taken her points line. All right, the game bet, and then we had 1 game bet, sorry. All right, getting into tomorrow. So for Monday, we have Valkyries and Lynx. And we've seen this game 3 times already this season. And don't forget, last year they got completely swept by the Minnesota Lynx all 4 times in the regular season and twice in the 2 playoff games. So this season they've also been swept all 3 times by the Lynx. The Lynx just have the Valkyries number. Cheryl Reeve just has Natalie Nakase's number, apparently. And so over the last 5 games, the Valkyries have gone from 7th to 10th in offensive rating. They have maintained their number 1 defensive rating, but meanwhile, the Lynx are 2nd in offense and 4th in defense, and then both of them play at a slow pace over the last 5 games. So the trends are the Valkyries are 4-4 ATS in the last 8. They're under in the last 5 games in a row, over in the last 5 before that, and then under in the last 5 before that. So they did 5 unders, 5 overs, and then 5 unders, again, is what they've been doing, which is pretty weird. I thought it was weird. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that before. Minnesota is 7-2 ATS in their last 9, so they've been covering. Late, they were known notoriously as the team that cannot cover, but they have been covering over the last basically 10 games. They are 3-3 to the over in the last 6, so about 50-50 coin flip. They've won 6 straight and covered 3 straight. Courtney Williams will be out for this one. At least that's what it says so far. She had like an ankle injury or something like that. And it says she's ruled out, so I'm just going to trust that they're really ruling her out. I'm going to lean to the over, the 159.5 over, because the Lynx could secure the number 1 seed with this win. So if they beat the Valkyries are the only team who can catch them. Basically, like they're the only team that has enough games to catch them. And then with a tiebreaker, if the Valkyries can win this game, basically. I think maybe the Aces can catch them if they lose this game, and the Aces win every single game and the Lynx don't win any more games. So it's possible. But anyways, the point is, the Lynx can lock up the number 1 seed with this win. The Valkyries know that, and And the Valkyries have a really easy schedule the rest of the season. So if the Valkyries win this game, potentially they could win all the rest of their games as well. And if the Lynx lose all the rest of theirs, they could get the number 1 seed. So maybe they do come out swinging because of that. I mean, it's a snowball's chance in hell, basically, because the Lynx are not going to lose all the rest of their games. But it is possible. So I like the Valkyries to come out swinging, put up a fight. Gabby Williams should be fresh because she only played 14 minutes in the last one. And I think that was due to her poor shooting. At least that's the excuse that was given by the coach. But I don't know if that's really because they're just resting her before the FIBA break. And maybe that's the case and she plays another 14 minutes here. Or maybe she plays 30 minutes and she's totally fresh for this game. So that's why I like the over. That was a long explanation. I apologize. The Minnesota Lynx, I am going to side with them on the spread and the total just because they have covered this spread in 2 out of their last 3 games with the Lynx this year. I mean, with the Valkyries this year. And the only time they didn't cover was in a high-scoring game, which is weird. So they should be able to cover if they're going to win this game definitively. And I do like the total over, so maybe that means it will be a little closer. And then I'll take Minnesota on the money line as well. The Dream and the Sparks, we're getting a 9.5 number, which is a lot. And then over and under the 183.5 number. They've played twice already, and those games were 193 and 212. We know that was a very one-sided game by the Dream where they really just poured it on. And the Dream have been winning big in the last couple of games. So over the last 5 games, the Dream are number 1 in offense, they're number 3 in defense, and they're number 4 in pace. Literally probably the best stats that you could possibly get over the last 5 games. And then the Sparks are 14th in offense over the last 5 games, 9th in defense, and 5th in pace. The trends are that the Dream are 4-3 ATS in their last 7, but they have covered 3 straight. They're 2-3 to the over in the last 5. And then they've won and covered 3 straight. So they actually are playing to more unders than overs lately, but they are covering all of their spreads. The Sparks are 2-4 ATS in their last 6, which is not great. They were on an amazing covering streak, and then lately they have not been. And then the Sparks are 2-7 to the over in their last 9, so they haven't been putting up a ton of points. In this last game that they played, they were able to put up 88 points, which is more than some of the other games they've played recently. So I think if we get 85 to 95 or something like that, then that would be 180 or so. So it's going to be pretty close to this number, in my opinion. I think the book set a really good line on the total. So I don't feel good about the over, but I'm going to go ahead and lean to the over. The Atlanta Dream, I'll take them on the spread, 9.5. They've just been covering, and it's clear that they're willing to pour the points on. And this is really a good matchup for them to do that. And then I'll take the Dream on the side as well. All right, my best bet is Olivia Miles over 29.5 PRA. She's over in 67% of the last 21 games. That goes up to 70% in the 10 games with Nafisa Collier. And then when she's at home with Fee, she's over 100% of the time in 5 games, with her lowest PRA being 34. So that's the smaller graph that I put down here at the bottom. Head-to-head, she had 39, 16, and 32. And the 16 was in the lower scoring game. They won by 6. She obviously just wasn't really needed in that game. Fee wasn't playing in that game. Don't know if that's really relevant. But I like this one. If it's an incredibly low-scoring game, it's obviously not going to hit. So if you think that that's going to be the case, then don't play it. I think with Courtney Williams being out, it's not like she's necessarily the best defensive player in the WNBA. But with her being out, I think the Valkyries do have a few more places they can attack. And maybe that means they put points on the board. And if that's the case, then Olivia's going to answer. So I will just take Olivia over her PRA, ride with it, hope for points in this game. All right, Tiffany Hayes is a lean in the same game over 9.5 points. She's over in 8 of the last 9 games, so she's been getting over this line consistently. She's played head-to-head, had 15 points in 25 minutes, 2 points in 7 minutes, which she had a leg contusion in the earlier game, tried to play in this game, and then was taken out, basically. And then 12 points in 25 minutes. So apart from that game where she only played 7 minutes, she's been over this line against this team head-to-head. And she's been over this line in 8 of the last 9 games. So I'm just going to have to continue to ride it here over the 9.5 points for Tiffany Hayes. But because it's the Golden State Valkyries, and I hate betting on the Golden State Valkyries because they always screw me somehow, it's just a lean. And that is all I have for you today, guys. So we are going to jump into a little deep dive. We'll look at the Dream. We'll look at the Sparks. And I'll tell you what I'm looking at and why I'm not going in on anything right now. But I do think that there are some parlay pieces in there. So for right now, we just have these two bets. So because we just have these two bets and I don't know if we'll find anything else, then what I'm going to do for the cash prize giveaway for this video, it's going to be a little bit weird. What we're going to do for the cash prize giveaway is we're going to do an NFL flavored cash prize giveaway because I'm doing my NFL fantasy draft tonight. And so what I want you to do is give me a good like fantasy football team name. And I think I'm just going to choose my favorite one. Like it's not going to be random. I'm going to choose my favorite one. And so, I'll give you some hints. I do tend to like the names that are punny with the players' names. And, try not to pick something that, like on a player like Alvin Kamara, who's been in the league for 10, 12, 15 years. And, we've gone through many iterations of puns with his name. Try and pick one of the fresher players, like a player that's coming out of the scene or like a rookie or something like that. And I'll just pick my favorite one and I'll give you $10. How about that? So that's what we're going to do. Let's jump into the deep dive. Before we jump into the deep dive, don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe. Leave that comment to get in for the cash prize giveaway. And I will give that out regardless of whether these bets hit or not. So either way, someone's getting $10 today. And let's go ahead and jump into the deep dive. All right, you guys. So for the first game here, the Valkyries at the Lynx, we have Veronica Burton over 13.5 points. Head-to-head, she had 8, 5, and 14. We know that she turns on the burners when Gabby is not playing well. And I don't know how Gabby's going to play because this is an away game, and Gabby does not play well in away games. And so I do expect Veronica to be taking some shots here. It looks like she took 8, 8, and 9 in the 3 head-to-heads. Lately, she's been taking 8, 9, 11, 9, 6, 13. So I don't really expect her to take more than 8 or 9 shots. And so this 13.5 points line is too high. And so I'm not going to go in on it. The assists are at 5.5. We normally get it at 6.5. So the books are doing us a favor here and giving us 5.5, although it's juice. So you're going to have to pay $156 to get it. Head to head, she only had 3, 5, and then 7 in the most recent game. I would lean towards taking this in a parlay because I think it's a good price. I think we could lower it even more if we wanted to, 4.5. And that's only minus 322. So you should be able to get a double up with a normal line on like Prize Picks or something like that. But yeah, I like the 5.5 as well as a parlay piece. The rebounds at 3.5. She's been consistently over this line in 6 out of the last 7 games. She had 2, 2, and 4 head to head. I don't mind the 3.5 rebounds, but I do like attacking the rebounds more on the Lynx side because Courtney Williams is gone. That's like 4 to 6 rebounds gone that someone is going to pick up. And it might be Olivia, and that's why I like her PRA. And it might be someone else. So we'll talk about that when we get into the Lynx players. So for Veronica, for me, I think just points on the under is probably the only thing I love, and I don't love it. It's the only thing that I would even consider. Like I'm not taking any overs on Veronica except maybe the assist in a parlay, but I'm saying for normal lines. Turnovers might be interesting. Head to head, she had 1, 2, and 2, and then at home she turns the ball over a lot more. In away games, she barely turns the ball over. This is an away game, but if we're gonna get a 1.5 line, I might bet on that at the over 1.5 turnovers. All right, so Gabby's getting a 13 points line. She had 2 points in her 14 minutes played in the last one. And head to head, she had 5, 15, and 10 on 10, 16, and 15 shots. If she plays the whole game, she is probably going to take 15 shots and probably go over this line because she'll get some fouls. So she'll get the free throws. I probably lean over, but I'm not taking it. I don't trust her. I've been burned by Gabby way too many times. I'm off the Gabby train, and I'm not getting back on for this game. But I do lean to the over. The assists and the rebounds I wouldn't touch at all because if she's going to be scoring primarily focused on scoring, then she's going to ignore all that other stuff. And that is one other reason why I think the Lynx will win this game. Turnovers at 1.5, kind of interesting as well. Pretty much the same chart as Veronica, 1, 3, and 3. Because Veronica also missed her first game and then went over in the other two head-to-heads. At home, she turns the ball over way more, and in away games, she doesn't. So it looks like in away games, the Valkyries are a little bit more careful with the ball. So Janelle Solana is interesting because she's been over this line all 3 times head-to-head. She had 17, 15, and 15 points on 11, 16, and 12 shots. And she does play a lot better in away games. So at home, she's over 47% of the time. In away games, 62% of the time. So it looks like Janelle Solana is going to have the good game. But I just don't trust the Valkyries. I don't trust her, and I don't trust the Valkyries, and I'm not playing it. But she does have the best hit rate. She has the best head-to-head. She has the best splits, home and away splits. So everything is saying the data is screaming at us to bet over on Janelle Solana, and I'm not doing it, but I just wanted to show you. And that is all I want for Janelle Solana. All right, Tiff Hayes, that is who we're going in on. We already talked about her points. Her assists, I wouldn't really touch. And then her rebounds, I would lean over because, I mean, we don't have a line yet, but she's been going over in the last 4 games. And Courtney Williams is going to be off the court. I don't know what guard they're going to put on Tiffany Hayes, but probably not Olivia. Like if Tiff Hayes and Veronica are on the court at the same time, then Olivia is going to be on Veronica. And so then I don't know if Tiffany Hayes gets Kayla McBride or somebody else. But Kayla McBride's not really a great rebounder. So I would probably lean over on Tiffany Hayes' rebounds. What if they give it at 3.5? At 4.5, I do think that's too high, and I wouldn't take it. Head-to-head, she had 5, 1, and 7. And there's a lot more rebounds to be had with Courtney Williams off the court. Well, not a lot more, but there's more to be had. I don't really want anything else on Tiffany Hayes, but the PR could be interesting if we think she's going to go over on the points and the rebounds. So that would be like 14, and the PR projected line is 11.5. So, I mean, if we get that, 9, 10, 11, 12. No, it's not going to be 11.5. It's going to be 12.5 minimum and probably 13.5. And I might even consider it there. So 13.5 PR might also be a good look on Tiffany Hayes. All right, Xanda Lassini has been bad the last 3 games. She's only played 15, 30, and 12 minutes. So I don't know what she's going to play in this game. She had 2 really big games against this team with 18 and 23 points. And then she had an 8-point game on 15 shots. So she took a ton of shots and was just super inefficient in that game. Yeah, I would not be playing Xanda Lassini. I would play Janelle Solana before I played Xanda Lassini. And I'm not playing either one of them. So, yeah. All right, Kayla Thornton has just been kind of tapering off. In the last few games, she's played 19 minutes, 33, 19. Okay, so the 3 19 games were, no, 2 were at home and 1 was away. I'm just trying to find a pattern here, but I don't see one. So, yeah, I don't see any kind of pattern. There's no rhyme or reason to Kayla Thornton. I don't think it's necessarily a smash spot for her. So I'll just stay away from it. But 6.5 is pretty low. All right, on the other side of the ball, we have Nafisa Collier, who I would lean over on. The shot chart is okay. Like the restricted area is not that great of a shot against the Valkyries, but the paint is. So I think that Fee can get her points. I wasn't sure whether to go over on points for Olivia or Fee. So then I just ended up going on the PRA for Olivia. So that's what I did. She had 18 in the previous head-to-head. She shot 5 for 12 in that game and had 8 free throws that she made, all 8 of them. And so she's probably not going to shoot 8 free throws in every single game. And she'll probably shoot a little bit better, though. So I think I would probably put her at like 16 points. So I don't like Fee on the over for this game, I guess. But I wouldn't blame you if you did, and I don't think it's a bad play. Assists I wouldn't play, and then rebounds I would lean to the over. She had 8 in the last one. She's been hovering right around this 7-8 line. And now there should be a couple extra rebound opportunities because of Courtney being gone. And so it is minus 154. Let's see, best price 138 on Novig. And so that's not even bad. You could grab this for minus 138 and put it in a parlay. Threes, I probably lean over, but I'm not really interested. She had 0 in the last one. And first quarter points, I would lean over on the 4 flat because we could play for the push there. She had 6 the last time they played. And it looks like the Valkyries were the last team that she did play, which I didn't notice until just now, because she did miss, I think, 2 games, or 1 game at least, in that intervening time. So yeah, I think I would go over on the first quarter points, but I'm happy with my Olivia play, so that's just what I'm sticking with. So Olivia for 18.5 points. We already talked about the PRA, but let me just show you individually. She has the same shot chart as Fee, basically. They take their shots pretty much in the same zones. Fee shoots a little bit more in the paint, and Olivia shoots a little bit more from above the break than Fee does. But apart from that, it's pretty similar. Head-to-head, she had 27 and 20. Basically, it's the same with everything. Like, she had 2 good games and 1 bad game in the middle. Rebounds have been super consistent, and then she might get an extra rebound because of Courtney being gone. So that's why I wanted the full PRA. Just give me everything on Olivia. And I don't play Olivia's normal line a lot. I play her alt line quite a lot, but I do not play her normal lines a lot. And so I'm hoping that this isn't just a 120-point game and the Valkyries only put up 50 points. Like, that could happen, and I would not be very happy. All right, Kayla McBride, I actually do think this is too low as well, because the way you beat the Valkyries is you shoot 3-pointers and you shoot them well. Kayla's the best in the business. So I think I have to lean over on her as well, but you can't take them all. You're going to have to pick your favorite. My favorite is Olivia. Assists and rebounds, I would not fade. Like, you're going to be super tempted to fade her assists and rebounds, but without Courtney, she should step up and do a little bit of that. Oh, by the way, I wanted to show you on Olivia. If you don't want the full PRA, the RA is really good value at 10.5 because she only has to go over the assists or the rebounds and not both, and she could clear that line. It's minus 146, so that would be a parlay piece, but the RA has significant value on Olivia because she doesn't have to hit both lines. She only has to hit one or the other and can miss by one on the other one. Natasha Howard, 12.5 points. She had terrible showings against the Valkyries in her 3 games. So 12 points and 10 points in these 2 games without Fee, where she played 30 minutes and 28 minutes. And then in this game with Fee, she played 34 minutes and still only had 8 points. So Natasha Howard basically has struggled against this team for some reason. But I think with the dual threat of Napheesa Collier and Natasha Howard, that should make it easier for Natasha Howard to score on Kia Stokes, because Kia Stokes can't guard both of them. But before, it was Nia Coffey and Natasha Howard, and Kia Stokes could just guard Natasha Howard and let Nia shoot because she's going to miss most of the time. So I don't like to fade this, but this is probably the best player on the Lynx to fade if you're looking for a fade. The assists I'm not interested in either, although she did have 5 in the last head-to-head, or 4, excuse me, in the last 2 head-to-heads. I don't really like that. And then the rebounds at 7.5. I think I lean over on the rebounds. So PA might be a fade. So let's see, it just bumped up to 13.5 on the sports books. It's only 12.5 juiced over on the DFS apps. So you can actually get Natasha Howard at 12.5 if you want to play the over, but I like the under. So let's see. So 13, 15.5. So her PA line is at 16.5, which is a little too high. She has not hit it in any of the 3 games and consistently been under this line by like 3 to 4 points or assists. So if you're going to fade anybody on the Lynx, which I am not doing, but if you want to, it would probably be Natasha Howard under 16.5 PA. First quarter points, 2.5. That's way too low to fade. And then first half points at 6.5. I guess you could fade that, but I think they are going to try to get Natasha Howard going early. And if they can, then they'll just run that. If they can't, then they'll pivot. All right. I don't know why we're even getting a line from Maya Caldwell. I guess that's who's going to be stepping in for Courtney Williams. And I don't expect her to have a huge role on the team, but she could play 30 minutes where she's only playing 14, 15 minutes before. So these lines could double for her. She is not the mid-range shooter that Courtney is. So she relies on getting her points, right at the basket. And I don't really like that for her. I think the lines are too low to fade, like at 4.5 points, if she's going to play 30 minutes. Like, that's too low to fade, so I'm not fading it. I'd probably lean over. And then I don't see any other Valkyries I'm interested in on the bench here. So we'll move on. So the Dream and the Sparks. Alicia Gray did not have a good game against the Sparks the last time they played. She didn't need to, but she only had 13 points in a 36-point blowout. Only played 23 minutes. So if this game is more competitive, she might get here, but I don't expect this game to be competitive. Like, I expect them to win by 10 plus. Like, I think the Sparks can put up points, but I think the Dream are just going to destroy them and pour on a ton of points. So I don't like anything for Alicia because her head-to-head suck. And so I just don't like her at all. But she could come out early and score a lot is my only fear. So, I can't fade her. I mean, I'm not fading any Dream player against the Sparks. That would be crazy because they're such a good matchup. All right, next we have Ryan Howard, who also had a good game against the Sparks. She had 26 points the last time they played. She has a gorgeous shot chart. She's probably going to shoot a ton of threes. Her assists, she had 5, but I wouldn't really count on that happening again. And then the rebounds are at 3.5. She had 3 the last time, but 5 the time before that. So we could bank on like 8 RA. It's 7.5. She had 8 both times. And in away games, she does go over her rebounds and assists a little bit more. I do think the points line is too high. Like, I will not be playing that. But again, I'm not fading any of the Dream players. So if you wanted to play something else instead, maybe over the 7.5 rebounds and assists for Ryan Howard. This is a good matchup for that. But she is barely clearing it. So just, I guess, take that into consideration. I like the over 4.5 first quarter points just because she's been doing it lately. But I think that's an unnecessary risk that we don't need to be taking. I don't like the over first half points. I would go first quarter only if you were playing that. All right, and then Angel at a 17.5 points line. They're just taxing us because they know that Angel is stuffing the stat sheet. She had 20 in the previous head-to-head and 23 in the one before that. She has a great shot chart. I mean, I'm not sure what we do here. I think maybe we just continue to ride Angel. She shot 9 for 9 in the last game and then 7 for 11. So she's not going to shoot 9 for 9 most of the time. I think like 17 points is the limit of what I would want to consider. So they've really set the line good. I'm going to lean over. It's not something I'm betting. Maybe I'll be on an alt line for Angel. I think that probably sounds like a good idea. Over like 14.5. That's a decent line for Angel, and I'll probably take that. Assists, I'd probably lean to the over. She had 8 in the last one. She only had 2 in the one before that. And we played her assists against the Mercury based on that 8-game assists with the Sparks and the 2 previous games. Because in these easy matchups, she's getting a ton of assists, but she did not do it in that Mercury game for some reason. I don't really know why. Like, there's no reason she shouldn't have hit it, and she just didn't. So I lean over on the assists again, and then the rebound, she missed it against this team in the last one, and then hit it in the previous one barely. So I don't think I want to take that because most of her shots are just going to go in. She's not going to have to get the rebounds in this matchup. So I wouldn't touch the rebounds. I would just do points or assists or an alt line or points and assist combo over 20.5. Actually, I don't hate the points and assist combo over 20.5 because maybe she doesn't score quite as much, but she assists a little bit more to Naz Hillman and Ryan Howard and just the people around her. And so we can capture it all. And she's been over the line. Like, if we subtract these games off, she's been over in 71% of the last 14 games. That's pretty good. So I like this better than the points line separately. But I'm still going to be on a points alt, and that's it. Yeah, I don't think I want anything else for Angel, but let's just double check real quick. Yep, I don't think we need anything else on her. All right, moving on. So we got the Sparks, Ray Burrell. She just had a 20-point game against the Sun, but only scored 12 against the Dream, where she's been running really hot. And she did take 10 shots in this one. She just didn't shoot very well. Only 1 for 6 from 3, so that was part of the problem. So I lean over on Ray Burrell. Like nothing's really stopping her. The coaching staff is letting her shoot as many times as she wants. Like maybe they're looking to trade her eventually, and maybe they're letting her show off her skills. Because they need to do a full rebuild with like NECA retiring and Kelsey Plum leaving, and then Ariel Atkins and Erica Wheeler are a little older, a little on the older side. Cam Brink they're obviously going to keep, so they're probably going to build around Cam. And then Ray Burrell's a nice piece, but they've had her on the team for a couple of years now. I don't think they're really super psyched about her. And so maybe they do trade her in the offseason. All right. I lean over on the 2.5 assists, and then the rebounds I'm not touching, but the normal line is going to be like 2.5, and I'm not touching it still. I just think I like over the 15.5 points for Ray Burrell. That's what I like the best. So far, I'm not putting any plays in on the Sparks, though. NECA at 14.5 points does seem to be too low, but I did want to show you something else. So the assists I also lean over, then the rebounds I would lean over as well, even though she only had 5 and 6 head-to-head. So if you look at her PRA, she had 29 and 22. So she's been really close to this number, and she's been nailing it, before the Sparks basically started tanking. So I do think a 19.5 PRA line for NECA, if you can get that, it's minus 333 on Sportsbet. But on a DFS app, you should be able to get this and then pair it with something for a double up. I kind of like the over 19.5 PRA for NECA. But NECA's burned me twice now, 2 games in a row. And so I don't want to go in on it again. That's why I'm not playing the 23.5 line. But I do like it on the over. And then first quarter points, I probably would lean over. First half points, probably not. And then I don't want anything else. If she gets a 1.5 turnovers line, I probably will play that. Because she's been over both times against this team, and she's been over a lot. But I'm telling you, I saw it in the last one, or maybe the one before that with the Dream, and I didn't see a line. Like I was telling you that I wanted to go in on it, and I was checking right up until the game started, and we never got a turnover line for NECA. So we're probably not going to get another. We're probably not going to get one. All right, Dearica Hamby over 13.5 points. She has a great shot chart, same as NECA basically. She only had 8 in the last head-to-head, only played 24 minutes. They lost by 36, so that's probably part of the reason why she didn't play full minutes. She only played 21 in this last one, and they won that game. So I'm thinking that they might be ramping Hamby down to only 20 to 25 minutes instead of 25 to 30 minutes. So I that makes me even more confident on NECA because, I mean, they can run her into the ground and let her play as much as she wants because she's retiring. So I think that that's what they're doing. So I wouldn't expect Hamby to get more than 25 minutes, but I still lean over the line because it's too low. Assists I'm not touching, and then rebounds. Rebounds are really low, but she hasn't hit it, so I'm not touching that either. The threes, if we get something for threes for Hamby, I would take the under because if she's losing minutes, she's also going to lose shot attempts, and she only takes 1 or 2 threes a game. Let's see. Against the Dream, she took 0 and 0 in the previous head-to-head. So she didn't even take a three-pointer in her 2 previous head-to-heads with the Dream. And she has not taken more than 1 since this Valkyries game. So in the last 6 games, she has not taken a 3-point shot. So if they give us 0.5 threes for Hamby, and it's not too juiced, I think we can go under that line. And that's all I like for Hamby. All right, on the players with no lines yet, Jordan Canada is the first one that pops up here. She had 16 and 9 points in the 2 previous head-to-heads. She does score better in home games, so I guess I would just ignore her. She has a great shot chart, but everybody does on the Dream, so I would just ignore that. She had 9 and 11 assists against this team the previous 2 head-to-heads. I would be a little bit careful about it, but I would probably lean to the over on the assists. And then rebounds, I wouldn't touch the rebounds. So assists on an alt line for sure. We'll probably get at 7.5, and you can probably take it down to 6.5 or even 5.5 and play that as an alt line. That seems a bit safer to me. Threes. Yeah, no, she's been shooting a ton of threes lately, which is a little bit weird. I don't think I like anything else besides the assists on Canada. So for me, that's it. It's the assists, probably on an alt line. Tahina Pow should be playing in this game. Oh, she did come back for the last 2 games. Well, she's been back for the last 4 games. So I was moving during these 2 games, but I have not picked up on her being on the court in these games. She only played 13 minutes and 2 minutes. Okay, so that's why I didn't notice her in the last game. She only played 2 minutes. 13 minutes in this game, though, I did not notice her. I did watch that game, and I didn't notice her. So that's my bad. Yeah, she has a great shot chart. So I think she will take a couple of threes, and she'll probably hit one. So, I mean, in 2 minutes, she took a three and hit one against this Mercury team. And then in 13 minutes, she took 4 and made 2 of them here. So if they give us a number for Tahina Pow's threes, maybe we throw some plus money on that. I'm not taking it if it's an even line, but for plus money, for her to get 1 3, I'll probably take a shot on it. And then Medina Okot should get extended run in the blowout. So I like her over points, whatever they give us, like 4.5, 5.5. I probably like the over there. And then I don't want Ariel Atkins. Cam Brink, I don't know. She's too hit and miss for me. They're probably going to try to protect her because I do think the Sparks are going to try to build around Cam Brink going forward. And she is pretty fragile. So I think that they're not going to let her play super big minutes in these last few games of the season. Erica Wheeler, they're probably going to let her go out there and take shots. So I kind of think I would lean over on Erica Wheeler. And then Monika Koa-Makani, they're going to obviously keep her. They just traded for her, so they'll keep her for the future as well. I really think they're going to try and trade Ray Burrell. And Monika Koa-Makani is going to become their main. I mean, maybe they start Ray at the 1, Monika Koa-Makani at the 2, and then Cam at the 5, obviously. And then they'll have to bring in like a 3 and a 4 because I don't think they really have anyone on the team that can do it. And then I don't know. They'll keep Ariel Atkins and Erica Wheeler obviously for the next couple of years, assuming they can't trade out of the contracts. But I don't think they can. And anyway, you're probably not interested in that, so we'll just move on. So that's it. That's all I like, you guys. We just have the 2 games. I gave you my plays, and it's just gonna be a small one. I'm gonna be up late tonight, and then I have my brother's wedding this weekend, and I have to fly out, and I'll be in Wyoming. So Utah and Wyoming. And in Wyoming, I don't think I'm going to have service. So I'm not going to do videos for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and probably not Monday either. So I will have a 5-game, like I'll miss the whole NFL preseason week 3, unfortunately. And then I'll have a 5-game slate where I miss. But I think also the WNBA is going to be winding up. So I'll probably only miss 2 or 3 actual slates. I can't remember now if they go all the way to August 31st or not. But anyways, I'll be gone during that time. All right. Don't forget to give me the like, give me the free subscribe, get in for the cash prize giveaway with a comment with your favorite fantasy football name that I can use this year. And maybe I'll use it and maybe I won't. But I already have some good ones that I like as well. So I will share those with you in the pinned comment. I'll tell you what I went with last year, and then I'll tell you a couple that I have for this year. All right, thanks, guys.